Good evening, ma'am. Hope you and your family have been keeping safe and healthy during these times. Thank you so much for sparing time from your busy schedule to help us with this interview. This interview would support us to enhance our understanding and get a wider view of our society from a respectable lawyer as you are. As a group, we are working on Global Social Leader Project, wherein we are working towards promoting and adhering to Sustainable Development Goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions.
It is among one of the UN development goals, as this goal aims towards the betterment and justice of the society, and the court is the voice for the people. We would love to know your perspective on the same through the following questions. Before we start, could we please request you to introduce yourself so that we could know you better?
Sure. Thank you for this opportunity to interact with you all. It's always a pleasure to be speaking to young minds, and there's more to learn from you than maybe tell you something which will be so meaningful. I hope I have something to contribute to your, project. I am Masha. I am a partner with Shardul Amachan Manudas. I've been doing the practice of law for more than 15 years now. I am a litigator. I graduated from National Law School, Bangalore, and then joined the erstwhile firm, which was Amachan Manudas, and started my litigation practice. I do a lot of banking litigation, and at this point of time, actually, almost exclusively doing insolvency and bankruptcy laws at the firm, and involved at more at the litigation practice of it, but also involved at policy level kind of debates and contribution to the regulators. Work in the policy space in insolvency and bankruptcy regime. So happy to answer your questions.
Thank you. Firstly, we would like to ask, how does your profession influence the society?
So law is, traditionally seen as, and I believe is one of the noblest of the professions, because what it upholds is very basic values of, humanity, which is equality, fairness, and justice. These are very big, heavy sounding words, but even though I am mostly in the commercial laws practice, and my clients are usually companies and we are usually dealing with financial disputes, but I still feel that even though I may not be doing very human rights oriented law, but still very central to legal profession is these concepts of equality, fairness, and justice. And wherever in doubt or wherever you don't have relevant precedents for any position of law, I think it is something which is fair and appropriate, and something which uh, measures up well to the ideals of equality and fairness. That is ultimately a successful argument before a court, because it is such a vast field that a lot of areas and interpretations are untested, and I think ideas of equality and fairness is something which is the most underlying theme of profession of law, and it certainly helps to uphold that. Apart from that, of course, it helps to uphold the rule of law, because without law you possibly cannot carry on in the society. There has to be a conflict resolution. There has to be a method to the madness that the humanity goes through everywhere in every sphere of life, right? So in that sense, law has a huge contribution to society, is one of the most important kind of aspects of our life as a social being. And therefore, I think history is full of instances where lawyers or legal scholars have contributed a lot beyond just, administration of justice in the court system.
What are your views on the words peace, justice, and strong institutions?
Right. So peace, if I take that term first, I think that's very valuable kind of state of affairs when we live together in a society, because inherent in our social interactions is some kind of a conflict, and therefore ability to resolve that and live coexistence, or being coexistent in a collaborative way leading to peace, is something which is obviously important. Peace in terms of international disputes, to peace on a normal day-to-day life, anything, something as simple as management of traffic, and ensuring that there are no accidents and arguments and road rage, to ensuring that there is peace between nations. All of this, I think peace is important, and law definitely helps you secure that. The other word I think you said was justice, right? uh, Justice, I think, again, is one of the very intrinsic value to be upheld in a society, in the sense that you need to make sure that people are able to access resources, opportunities, and are able to live in a manner where they are provided access to opportunities and living conditions which is fair to them. And that is something which I would think is justice, which is everyone gets their due, and place in the society and an opportunity to do well. uh, so I think justice definitely is something important. And when you say institutionalization, I think that's a way and manner of society evolving systems to ensure that the values of peace and justice are actually secured. So therefore, institutions at the very local level, from panchayats to your United Nations, these are ways and means of ensuring that you achieve these kind of values for overall society. So yeah, quite important in each one of them. So the only thing I would say is that peace and justice are more subjective, in the sense they are qualitative values to be achieved. Institutionalization is something which is a means to these values, rather than a true value in itself. Because you should not perhaps be looking at saving an institution for the sake of it, but for preserving the values such as peace and justice.
What are the issues that usually come up in the court by the people? Do the issues lead to a common cause?
Yeah, so courts actually deal with variety of disputes across board. Uh, so the ones which are closer to the common good and common cause are obviously more of a public interest issues, such as simple issues like we have a litigation practice called public interest litigation. So it can deal with any and every in public interest and take it to the courts and ask for some kind of relief from the court or direction from the court to the government to do the needful. So that's closer to the common cause. So it would include subjects like education, law and order, appeal against biased or discriminatory laws. These are definitely something which is more closer to common cause. But the courts obviously also deal with private disputes, which are private, financial disputes or company disputes, etc. So yeah, but it's the public nature of the law which is closer to common cause.
Why and how do you think peace, justice, and strong institutions has a relevance in the society?
So the strong institutions, for instance, in context of law, one of the most important institution is the judiciary, right? A strong judicial system is, I would say, sine qua non or indispensable for any mature society, maintain values of something like peace and justice. Because government, at the end of the day, even though it is an elected body, it is vested with a lot of power, and you need to have a counterbalance to that. And judiciary, which is not a servant to a executive part of the government, or is not in that sense elected representatives, so therefore not embroiled with so-called politics of representative democracy. These are one of the strongest institutions to restore the balance of power within democracy, and from that perspective, maintaining the sanctity and independence of this institution is very important for stability of any democracy or democratic institution. Of course, it is different from other forms of government like monarchy and dictatorship, where the emphasis is somewhere else. But when you talk about democracy, this restores the power balance, and therefore it is one of the most important institutions to be preserved.
No country today can positively declare that they have successfully achieved and been able to seize inequalities. What might be the cause? How can we legally ensure the same? And what are your thoughts?
So, law has its own role in ensuring equality, but I think more importantly, it is also the growth of the society and the country as a whole which leads to more equality, right? So, when, if I'm not wrong, Jefferson declared the independence for America and equality for America. In many ways, that equality also was so unequal, in the sense it was only for men, it was only for white men, right? So it's in that sense, achievement of equality is a progress of the society as a whole. Law certainly is a very important instrument in the hands of the people to ensure that the equality is achieved. But a lot of factors about equality are actually financial and economic inequality. And at the center of most of the discriminations, if one was to look at, and this is, I think, called the Marxist view of history, is that at the center of all of this is financial interest and the economic interest of people. So, why it makes sense to discriminate between men and women has to do with the problem of property, and you wanting to keep the property within your control by not giving equal rights to the women, right? Because women marrying off and going into another family and taking away the property is something, so that's the core intrinsic problem, right? Similarly, racial discrimination or caste discrimination, at the end of the day, sub-zero, apart from maybe some religious beliefs or some fundamentalist beliefs about people being different on the basis of caste, creed, or color. Ultimately, it all boils down to economic problem, and I think that's where equally the change at the level of society mindset and equal opportunity at an economic level would make a lot of difference, because beyond a point, law also gets dictated on the basis of the state in which the society was. In 1700s, when America declared equality for all men, it was a quite a progressive step for that society at that point of time. But was it enough, or was it an absolute equality? No. So, equally, we have progress to be made at different points of time in terms of achieving equality. But I think, apart from value based mandate of law to treat everyone equal, what is important is the change on the ground at the economic level to empower people more. And I think that's what Amartya Sen also talks about, is the equality of opportunity. How all of us need to have access to equal opportunities, and achieving that would lead to real equality, rather than just maybe fighting it out only in the level of courts, etc., because ultimately implementation is in the hand of each of us. And we practice inequality at different spheres of our own lives, from our households to the way the helps at home will be treated, to how a woman in a household is treated. So these are all small changes which are to be made both at the social and economic level, not only at a just a, if I can say, philosophical level of legal debate.
Certainly. Do you think the world is safe and peaceful? If not, then what all changes do you think should be made for the peace and safety of the society?
So, unfortunately, I think it is difficult to say that the world today is safe or peaceful. There are conflicts and violence against people, different sections of society. The violence amidst different countries, the violence which have been historically continuing in different regions of the world. There's violence against women. There's violence against, you know, economic classes which are not doing well. So it is not. But I think what needs to be done is the awareness, which is, starting from people like you, initiating young into these values of equality and peace and justice, and having a sense of righteousness in your own conduct. So I've had a occasion to be, interacting with the spiritual guru who, when I was your age, I used to, think that how much needs to be done in terms of the world, and, how much action is needed and everything, which it is, and all of us need to work towards that and hopefully contribute towards that. But he used to tell me one thing, that the most powerful tool in the hands of a person is to change in the vibration of your own, because ultimately it's also scientifically proven that all of us and the entire world and universe is nothing but vibrations. And if you change your vibrations, the kind of change you bring out for the rest of the world is immense. And I think that change in vibration and change in heart is something which should be aimed at every single individual, looking at passing on of values which looks at you know uh, looks at things more than in a selfish way. Your ability to appreciate issues from the perspective of others, the value of empathy, and being able to empathize with people differently situated than yours, and appreciating their viewpoint, and authenticity. I think today's world has been, we are full of artificial, facades which we have created for all of us. And I think we are not very authentic people as a, as a earlier generation. But I think the coming generation, there is a lot of emphasis on being authentic. And one of the prime examples of world leaders I see of being authentic are, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. So people like them who are, not only doing things on the ground, which is a lot of things needs to be done, but I think each one of us, if we can have the value to do something more than just sustaining our living and our living standards and being happy in our existence, and looking beyond and being authentic and being empathetic, that change in vibration, that change in psychology, which is also leading for a generation of people like you to make different choices than we did. I think at our time of growing up and our parents' generation, securing a good financial career, being secure in terms of economically was of a prime value. But I think value for the generation is changing. And as they say, millennials are looking for something more than just earning the money. So I think that kind of a generational change, along with, of course, substantive things on the ground, including, more active democracy, which does look at issues which are just not selfish in the sense that you are voting for a person just because it helps you, or, something as simple as that somebody has been given some kind of, I don't know, something as simple as money or even a glass of alcohol at the election rally should not be the dictating factor of why you're choosing the people. And there has to be more public debate on where you want the country to be, and, choosing your representatives well, to ensuring that judiciary, executive, everybody is discharging their function, and people are making the representatives, um, uh, responsible for their duties, and more people like you and me taking responsibility of nation building, coming into active politics. All of these things, I think, as a whole will help. But I think the most importantly is the generational change in the mindset which is needed. And I think we are all headed towards that, hopefully.
Definitely. Hopefully, this generation works.
Yes.
Are there any suggestions you would like to give us that might help us in the future?
Okay, so I would want to just understand a little more about the project to be able to tell you maybe more concrete than the vague ideas of change in mindset. So just happy to hear a bit about the project from you.
So this project is a UN project, and basically we were given. There are 7 sustainable development goals, out of which we chose peace, justice, and strong institution because we thought that made a relevance in our society today. As you pointed out, that we are not yet there, and for us to be there, we have to make a change. So we have been, because it's all virus all around, and that's the main topic of ideas. So that's why it's been a bit tough, but we have been working on social media to get awareness and tell people that they should bring out a change and help the world grow progressively. And that's what it is. We're trying to understand our society and what might be the right path towards heading.
Right. So we're looking at strengthening peace, justice, and right. I think starting from something like strengthening legal aid in the country, need for and legal awareness. I think strengthening of NGOs for working with in rural areas, in remote areas, creating awareness of the rights, awareness about exercise of your democratic rights to choose people, choose representatives, uh, and yeah, and better utilization of judiciary and the dispute resolution which is available in the country. So I am aware of several NGOs which are already working on women empowerment, and the way it works is I think it works hand in hand to strengthen the weaker section of the society, be it women, be it a particular caste or a particular religion, to access better economic opportunities, making them more independent in terms of their earning capability, hand in hand with more awareness of their rights. And frankly, all of this means grassroots level work at some level, right? And to be working with them, going to the uh, even if one doesn't need to go to rural areas, there are several slums and economically deprived communities which are not working in the ideal situations. Working with them and helping them understand their rights. There are several people who are involved in doing small skits and interactions. Of course, all of this is limited right now because of the pandemic, but who doesn't have a phone right now? So, doing the small capsules of the rights of women, right of equal wages, uh, and so I think spreading awareness with empowering and legal aid to access the remedy where they are not able to have access to their rights and justice, and I think trying to help with education would really help seriously, because that creates the awareness. So, to the extent we have reservation or quota in the schools for economically weaker classes, that's a good step. Strengthening of government schools and education system, which also seems to have worked upon in Delhi recently, which is great. So these are some of the things. So I think education and awareness being the fundamental parts of it, and then easy access to justice in the sense legal aid, free legal aid, or that's something which obviously would help, right? And as I said, peace is at different levels, right? So peace is between the nations, diplomacy to peace between the neighbors. So there's a lot of things which can be done at different levels.
Thank you for guiding and answering our questions so briefly. It has been a great time with you. We learned a lot about the law and some opinions that you feel should be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you.